Thank you.
Hi there.
Hiya.
We are live on Scottish Palestine Solidarity Campaign's Facebook page.
Yes,
Can
thank
I
you.
ask you
Yes.
why you're here this evening?
We're here this evening to demonstrate against Israeli footballers coming here under the auspices of peace and European football, when in fact it's not that at all. It's a propaganda technique of a racist apartheid state, and it's unfair of them to think that they are going to be supported here. So we're showing them that we have the spirit and the right of justice on our side. And also, sumud is a very interesting word that was used, steadfastness. We are steadfast with the people of Palestine. For over 70 years, they have fought against oppression. There are no two sides. It's not a conflict, as people say. There's no conflict between oppressor and oppressed and occupier and occupied. And my own parents were brought up in an occupied state, so I'm compelled to be here. That's why I'm here.
Thank you very much.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing, testing. Friends, we're waiting for the Israeli bus, the Israeli team bus to arrive. When they arrive, we need to give them the greeting they deserve. We are here because of an appeal from Palestinian society, and very specifically from girls and boys in Palestinian football teams. They've asked us to be here because they are being shot, they are being jailed, they are being prevented from playing, and thousands of them are being crippled, maimed by Israeli snipers. That's why we're here. And the Scottish Football Association should be absolutely ashamed of itself. Not only have they facilitated a game with a team representing a murderous regime, but they've given us maximum grief in trying to come here tonight, to try to make it difficult to assemble, to express our revulsion at what Israel is doing to the Palestinians. Please obey social distancing. The majority of people disproportionately who contract COVID are working class people, less affluent, and ethnic minorities. You're not wearing a mask to protect yourself. You're wearing a mask to protect others. So please do that. And please try to keep social distancing. Please try and keep 1 metre or 2 metres apart from other people. Don't worry, you can meet up later, they won't disappear. But try to spread out, try to honour the recommendations on social distancing. So please look at the person beside you and kindly say, please move 2 metres away. I know it's awkward, difficult, can I ask you to do that, please? Friend, Israel's war is against Palestinian society, and it does not exempt football players. Maiming, killing, jailing, injuring, imprisoning, and so on. Khalid here, Khalid Khalil, was a professional footballer. He's a Palestinian. And he wants to say a few words to you, as a Palestinian and as a footballer. Khalid.
Thank you. Friends, thank you for, the turnout was amazing. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. Respect, huge respect to Scotland for the great turnout and the great reception that we are giving to the Israeli apartheid team. Now, I know as a footballer, I played football for 14 years for club and country, and I know what football means to every footballer. Football turns from a hobby into a profession, a way of life, your best, if not the only friend who brings you joy in a troubled surrounding of occupation and suffocation, siege, which kills all hope of developing any skill, trade, or any form of life. Israel is an apartheid state and an ethnic cleanser of the Palestinian people. Make no mistake about that. IDF is a cowardly army who killed 4 children playing football on the shores of Gaza by opening machine guns on them in 2015. I don't need to remind you of how many children were killed in a series of air raids since 2012. I'm only here to talk about targeting the Palestinian sports. So the killer and kidnapper of children will find it very easy to prevent Palestinians from developing any form of social, academic, or athletic initiatives. This is ethnic cleansing at its best. The occupiers are determined to destroy not only the bodies of Palestinians and athletes by shooting their limbs and maiming them, they also want to destroy the psyche and the morale of the Palestinians, to force them to take a voluntary decision to leave. Many times Palestinian players and managing staff were forbidden, in addition to the many hundreds of killings for the Palestinian athletes. They are also forbidden the freedom of movement internally to play in local leagues and internationally to participate in FIFA, Asian Cups. Despite FIFA's warnings to the IFA, Israel Football Association, the Palestinian international football team participated in many tournaments, missing many key players and even managers due to occupation's restrictions on Palestinians travelling. In 2012, the FIFA has criticised the Israeli authorities for unlawfully arresting some Palestinian players. One of them was the player Mahmoud Sarsak, whom the SPSC interviewed a few days ago. Mahmoud and other administrative detainees went on hunger strike after being arrested on their way to the AFC qualifier.
It's Carmonic Road.
The roots of the sports movement in Palestine go back to the end of the 19th century, when it began in 1908, when the first school-level football team was formed in 1908. The Palestinian Federation. Palestine formally joined the FIFA in 1929 and participated in the World Cup qualifiers, which were held in Italy in 1934 and 1938. Palestine participated in 1938 World Cup qualifier, and in light of that, the Palestinian national football team was the first Arab Asian team to participate in the World Cup qualifiers. The Israeli government has not funded the construction and equipment of any stadiums of the Arab teams. The former Minister of Culture and Sports, Mary Regev, linked obtaining support with accepting the Jewishness of the state. She called on the Sahnin team, the only Arab team in the Israeli League, to remove all Arabic identity and appearances and raise the Israeli flag over the club's wall in order to obtain support. Noting that all Jewish sports federations, whether the Maccabis, the Beitars and the Hapoels of the Israeli League, are allowed to confirm and preserve their own identity. There are football clubs that are members of the IFA, which established their official stadiums in Israeli settlements in the West Bank, which are Maccabi Ariel Futsal, Ariel Municipal Football, Beitar Givat Zeev Shadi, Beitar Ma'ali Adumim, Jordan Valley Hapoel team, who play their matches in the settlement of Tomer in the West Bank, and train in the Inat in Israel. In addition, there is the Hapoel Katomim Jerusalem Club, which has 2 official stadiums in West Bank and West Jerusalem, and it also plays some games on its own soil in the settlement of Mali Adumim. Because of the discrimination inherent.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's a couple of team buses arriving now. It may be just the Scottish team, but let them know. Tell them we don't want them to play a team dripped in blood. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! I'm told that was a Scottish team. The Israeli team, I hear, skulked in hours ago. They skulked in as they have to skulk to go anywhere. Please, Khaled, carry on.
Friends, because of the discrimination inherent in Israeli settlements, clubs have no choice but to provide these services in a discriminatory manner. The Israeli army does not allow Palestinians to enter settlements, which it considers closed military zones, except for workers with special permits. For this reason, Israeli players, not Palestinian, from the West Bank, can enter the settlements to train and compete. The Israeli spectator, not the Palestinian, can attend the matches. Israeli children, not Palestinian, can play in the youth tournaments to join soccer clubs. Palestinian football suffers from the inability to establish an integrated league as a result of the Israeli occupation, dividing the West Bank into about 64 zones, isolating the region and the governorates from each other. The Israeli violations against Palestinian sports include the following: infrastructure. The occupation authorities prevent and obstruct the construction of stadiums and everything related and other infrastructures, and sometimes destroy what is in it. And restricting the movement of local players or visiting players, administrators, members of the Federation's board of directors, and journalists inside and outside the Palestinian Authority, as well as preventing, delaying or receiving shipments sent by the FIFA or AFC to donations initiated by the confederations and other sporting bodies. Israel interferes in organizing friendly football matches between Palestine and other federations, and usually prevent the establishment of many of them. During the Israeli war on Gaza in November 2012, F-16 warplanes bombed the Palestine Stadium in Gaza. As a result, its infrastructure was severely damaged. And it wasn't just the stadium, rather it included a long list of targets in clubs and stadiums as well, all over Gaza. I don't want to mention all the clubs that were destroyed in Gaza during that bombing, just conscious about the time. The practice of racism against Palestinian sports was not limited to the government of Israel, represented by Minister of Sports, but also included the anti-Arab Jewish public, which persisted in launching racist slogans against Arabs and against their presence. The FIFA, in light of all of the above, shame on you for allowing the Israel football team to play in Europe and give them the chance to polish the image of the last and only apartheid occupier state in the world in the 20th century. Thank you.
Thank you, Khalid. I don't know if you noticed, the Israeli team was allowed to train at the Partick Thistle ground. We didn't know that, otherwise we would certainly have been there in numbers. Somebody went there and wrote on the wall, Palestinian blood. 2 words, Palestinian blood. The Daily Record this morning carried a story to say somebody had written a vile message on the wall. To talk of Palestinian blood, for the record, is a vile message. What a disgusting rag. This is sick. Palestinian blood. Palestinian blood would fill swimming pools inflicted by Israel. How many people here know about the competition? Not tonight against Scotland, but the Israeli snipers competition. They reported it in the Israeli press. How many knees can you destroy in one shift? And one sniper boasted he had shattered 42 Palestinian knees with a sniper rifle in one shift. And to talk of Palestinian blood is vile. A vile message. We have to carry that message of Palestinian blood to let people know the reality of Palestine, of snipers trying to shatter the maximum number of limbs and win glory in such a disgusting manner. The Record didn't even think about asking about Palestinian blood. What blood? What would prompt somebody to write on the wall, Palestinian blood? Utter silence. Friend, we've got a list of speakers tonight. Next one is Basha Gordon from the Glasgow branch of Scottish PSC. She's a teacher. She was involved with many others in writing educational materials on the issue of Palestine. Unfortunately, they were not used by the Scottish Government. It's a shocking story of the Scottish Government censoring materials produced by willing teachers. Basha Gordon, a big hand please.
Over there with the banner.
Can you hear me? Yeah, as Mick was saying, that no one ever goes to Israel, comes back and saying what a good job the Israelis are doing in Palestine, because what we have here is a blanket silence. 10 years ago, our politicians stood in Holyrood with T-shirts saying I support Palestine, but now they would body swerve that issue because people are scared. People body swerve the issue of Palestine. You do not hear the media talking about what actually happens because it is disgraceful. It is horrifying, because what happens when you have an occupation of more than 70 years? You have a deformed society. You have people who can act with impunity and dehumanise others and do not realise exactly what they're doing because they see themselves as racially superior. So what I'm saying to you today is that we have to get out in schools and all educational institutions what the truth is, why Palestinians cannot be as free as the rest of their society. There are at least five different permits which denote where you stand in society in Israel-Palestine today. And of course, if you are a Palestinian, you are at the bottom of the heap. You will not get what a Jewish national has. You will not have the occasion to have the same rights. Your opportunities in life are completely severed. And so what I'm saying is, again, what I'm saying is that we have to stand by, we have to talk to our politicians, because they can't just walk away. Because if you walk away with that, our society sleepwalks into the same crisis.
Thank you. Thank you, Barrister. I think this is done. Well, the next speaker will have to speak up. The organising of this was done by 7 different groups. Scottish Palestine Solidarity Campaign, Scottish Friends of Palestine, Scottish Human Rights Forum, Friends of Al-Aqsa, Scottish Palestinian Society, and we're working together in order to build the BDS campaign and isolate the racist state of Israel. One of the groups is Friends of Al-Aqsa. Rizwan Din's a young guy here who's been working with them for a very long time. He says he's usually a backroom boy, but they twisted his arm and made him come up here and speak to you. So I hope you'll give him a warm welcome. Rizwan Din, Friends of Al-Aqsa.
Firstly, thank you very much for everybody coming today. I salute you all for all the work you do. Thank you for coming today to Hampden Stadium, the home of football. We are today Scotland versus Israel are playing. So normally at the face of it, it's a normal football game. But today, with Israel being here, it's synonymous with the blood of Palestinians. What Israel do back in Israel and the Palestinian territories is nothing less than heinous crimes. So Israel, which is a settler colonial state, has been defying numerous international laws and conventions. They have broken over 70 UN resolutions. Israel, who has land grabbed and seized land, more and more land since its inception, it has killed and murdered hundreds and thousands of children, men and women. Thank you much. They've killed and murdered thousands of men, women and children. They have plundered and destroyed towns and villages. They have imprisoned young children for minor crimes for over 20 years. This is all an attempt to ethnically cleanse Palestine. Today, as a Muslim, I'm here to show my disgust at the way they treat the holy sites in these territories, especially the Christian and the Muslim ones, especially that of Al-Aqsa, Al-Aqsa Sharif, which is the third holy site of the world, which is revered and loved by Muslims all over the world. So today I want you to join me in saying loud and clear, Israel, hands off Al-Aqsa! Israel, hands off Al-Aqsa! Israel, hands off Al-Aqsa! So today, very often, Israel sends its ambassadors around the world to cultural, sporting and academic events, and this is one of them in an attempt to whitewash the crimes, in an attempt to whitewash the heinous apartheid regime. They may show a facade where they're showing Muslim and Israeli Jewish players playing together, but what they don't tell you, what the media doesn't show you, is that most of these non-Jewish players are forced into signing up to the Israeli team, the Israeli national team. Otherwise, they cannot play in local level. What they won't tell you is that most of these Israeli football players are staunch supporters of the IDF. They, especially a Celtic player, Nir Beaton, very openly shared tweets of the IDF congratulating when they attacked and murdered thousands of Palestinians, especially children. and some of them are even served as IDF members, so they're on their payroll as well. What they won't tell you is that very often in Palestine, what they'll do is they'll stop Palestinian football teams from travelling. They'll stop them, harass them, and very often shoot them in the kneecaps in an attempt to disable them from playing further football. What they won't tell you is that Israeli snipers will shoot and kill children, especially that of the Bakr family. 5 children from the same family were killed on the Gaza beach in 2015. There are many other instances like this where they have used football and stained with the blood of Palestinian blood. So today they're here with the sponsorship money of Puma. Puma should be ashamed of itself for supporting this apartheid regime. Puma, you should know that there is over 6 Israeli football teams that are based now in the occupied territories of Palestine, which are illegal under international law. They are in the world's largest open air prison, which is Gaza. For over a decade it's been under blockade. And only one football stadium they had, Israel bombed this. For over 200 Palestinian football teams have written to Israel and asked for them to boycott. They've written to Puma to boycott Israel football team, but they have not done so. So let's everybody boycott Puma and tell them to show the red card to Israel.
Yeah.
Stop playing ball with them and say no to racism. Red card to Puma and Israel.
Yeah.
Off the park. At this time, when we're talking about oppressed people, it's only right to also remember the other oppressed people and the nations around the world. Doesn't matter what race, religion or nationality they are, we stand by all oppressed people, especially that of Kashmir, who have been under the blockade and the apartheid of the Indian occupation forces for over 70 years. There have been killings and rape and murders going on there, and they've been in a lockdown for over a year now, and we could not manage 2 months. So we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Kashmir as well as in Palestine. There's also our brothers and sisters of Rohingya who are brutally and tragically removed from their home place in Burma by the Burmese army. So we stand here to ask the British government to put pressure onto the Burmese government to accept these now refugees back into the country. We also stand by our Uyghur brothers and sisters who have been detained in camps where China has created over 380 in the country in an attempt to remove the culture and the identity and the religion from these people. We stand by all oppressed people around the world. As Nelson Mandela once famously said, the freedom of South Africa is not complete without the freedom of Palestine. We should make a pledge to ourselves that our freedom that we take for granted is not complete without the freedom of these oppressed nations. Whether it's Palestine, whether it's Kashmir, whether it's the Uyghurs, and whether it's the Rohingya and the Yemen also. We stand by all oppressed people. Once again, thank you very much for coming today. Please make a pledge to continue supporting this, and I thank you as well for all your great work as well. Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Free! Free! Free!
Palestine!
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 Friends, last week was a very, very sad anniversary for me. I only went to Gaza once, when the Gaza people blew a hole in the wall and surged through in their hundreds of thousands. And I went in there and was never more hospitably treated than when I went there in the middle of the night, stepped over the rubble, and my host said, I said, I'm lost here. I'm kind of lost. He said, ask anybody the way to the building. I stopped a guy passing by and he took me there. This den of terrorists this biggest open-air prison in the world. The hospitality's a bit much for somebody from Scotland. The anniversary was the murder of a Palestinian schoolgirl called Iman Al-Hams. And I went and spoke to her father, Samir Al-Hams. He was a teacher in Rafah refugee camp. And I made a short film. To be honest, it's a crap film. But the central part is Samir Al-Hams talking about the murder of his daughter, and it's incredibly moving. You see, what's special about Iman is that the killers who planned the killing of a schoolgirl were recorded, and their conversation was played on Israeli television. There's a terrified schoolgirl in the zone, said one of the soldiers. The officer says, kill her. The soldier says, she looks terrified. She's got a satchel and she's in a school uniform. The officer said, recorded, it's on the net, the Guardian played the transcript. Kill anything in this area, even if it's 3 years old, said the officer. And because of the scandal, there was a very brief investigation, and the officer went on trial for unethical behaviour. It is ethical in the Israeli army to kill a 13-year-old schoolgirl who's terrified and running away. He was found not guilty. And for the trauma he suffered, he was awarded a huge sum of money. And Samir Al-Hams told me it's special. And every time you speak to a Palestinian family and they tell you a story that should be a TV mini-series, then they say, nothing special about our family. My brother's doing 20 years in prison. Every family here has people in prison. Friends, the horror is difficult to imagine. Our next speaker is Bill Bonner for the Scottish Socialist Party, one of the groups organising tonight's demonstration. We're delighted to have a whole range of groups working together to boycott and isolate the State of Israel. A big hand, please, for Bill Bonner. He's the international officer for the SSP. Sorry, Bill.
Hi there. Do you mind if I ask you on Facebook Live why you're here this evening? Do you mind if I ask you on Facebook Live while you're here this evening?
Ask me on Facebook.
I'm live streaming onto Facebook.
Oh, right.
Just say no if you're...
Right, okay, I'll just...
No worries.
It's been organised by 7 different groups. The people who are organising. Let them speak.
Hi, can I ask you on Facebook Live while you're here this evening? Do you mind if I ask you on Facebook Live while you're here this evening?
Yeah, just...
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm here to support the Palestinian people, to raise awareness of Israel's attempt to impose this, blanket false. Sorry.
No worries. Children, and I had my dog there, so the children played with the dog. Cool. Okay, I've come to Hampden tonight as a member of the Scottish Jews Against Zionism. I'm completely disgusted that European football and in fact European sports keep endorsing Israeli teams and Israeli activities in Scotland. The occupation has to end because Muslims, Jews, Christians can live together in peace. Jewish people do not, as a whole, endorse Zionism. Zionism is a political ideology which feeds on hate, it feeds on terror, and it feeds on murder. And I would like personally to see an end to it, which is why I'm part of Scottish Jews Against Zionism and support all the international Jewish groups that continually put out their voice to oppose Zionism. Thank you very much, and anyone who's just heard that can visit the Scottish Jazz Facebook page and give them a like. Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yes. So you've got the same one?
So I think what it did was it brought together a realisation amongst the Palestinian people and amongst the people all around the world. Because up to that point, there was a kind of assumption that the Palestinian people would be liberated by Arab states, surrounding Arab states, and that they all they needed to do was to sit back and wait for that liberation to come. Back September, 50 years ago, almost exactly 50 years ago, disabused them of that idea. If Palestine was to be liberated, if Palestine was to achieve its sovereignty, it would have to be as a result of the Palestinian people themselves and the struggle of their supporters throughout the world. Now, I bring that up today because we've seen very recently another attempted peace process in the Middle East, a deal between Israel and Qatar, supported and orchestrated by the United States, to bring about another so-called peace settle in the Middle East, and also to bring about a settlement for the Palestinian people. The most striking thing about it is that the one group of people never consulted with the Palestinian people for very good reason. They would reject it overwhelmingly and for very good reason. The Palestinian people will be the people who liberate Palestine, and they can't rely on gangster states in Saudi Arabia, gangster states elsewhere in the world, basically. It'll be the Palestinian people and their friends and supporters throughout the world that'll do that. Demonstrations like today are important. The match tonight needs to be marked and needs to be marked by demonstrators. It was mentioned by a previous speaker that one of the things that Israel does, it projects this worldwide image of a normal state, a respectable state, a democratic state, a proud part of the international community, when we all know that they are a pariah state, a rogue state, a state that's been built on racism and oppression and exploitation from the very beginning of its inception. So it's important that we get that message over to people, and that's why this demonstration is important today. Scottish Socialist Party for 25 years has campaigned solidly in support of our Palestinian friends and comrades, and will continue to do so. And I'll finish up by one other thing. This is a football match tonight. I'm a football supporter. I'm a supporter of Scotland. And normally, in a game like this, I would go and see Scotland. But if the fans were allowed in tonight, I wouldn't go into this game tonight. I would boycott it, because I wouldn't do anything that gives legitimacy to an Israeli presence in this city. And I don't think anybody else should do. But I will say this: I hope Scotland wins tonight, but not because of just I want Scotland to win. I also want Israel to lose. Thanks very much, Bill. Could I ask these two people to leave?
That's mine. That's mine. That's mine.
Friends, there's a concert. Give her back the mic. Friends, give her back the mic. Thief.
Did y'all get on camera and make me feel the big fucking bully?
Friends, there's a concerted effort to break up this protest tonight.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Who have no interest at all. They come here every now and again. We're here every year.
Free, free Palestine! 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 Israel is a racist state! We all know this! Israel, you're a nasty pile of shit!
This is absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. These are people who break up other people's protests. They have nothing to offer. They're only here to prove how super revolutionary they are and what wretches we are. It's absolutely disgusting. Could I ask you please to leave and organise your own demonstration? They break up demonstrations all the time.